So the first to boycott the government was Fatah, the second major group as emerged from that election. Then the PFLP and the other factions, the smaller factions, said we cannot afford to be put on the terrorism list of the US. Especially people who benefited from a VIP status. You know, all Oslo did actually, is turn a few Palestinians into Zionists. And you're right, there are Zionists who are not Jewish. And today we have many Arabs who are Zionists. What would you call someone who is building a wall, a 30-meter wall, in the ground in order to prevent the tunnels and suffocate the Palestinians? Is that a human being? That's a Zionist, because Zionism is against humanity. I'm talking here about the Egyptian administration, just in case someone did not get it. What would you call someone who collaborates with Israel against the people of Gaza in maintaining the sanctions, in closing all the crossings like the Rafah crossing? Not only that, in even providing intelligence that was so precious for the Israelis to hit here and there and to liquidate and bring down Hamas. What would you call them? They are Zionists. Some of them even go to the mosque. Some of them probably have beards. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you pretend to be. What matters is in the heart. Where is your heart? Is your heart with the oppression of the people or with their liberation and freedom? That's what matters. Someone who supports justice and freedom and doesn't have any religion is a million times better than somebody who claims to have a religion, but through his religion or her religion contribute to the oppression of other people. See, that's why McShane doesn't want me to be here. That's why Murray doesn't want me to be here talking to you. What have I done today? Have I thrown any grenades? You see a dynamite belt somewhere? It's my words. Just tell the truth. Tell the story. You know, our story is very simple actually. If you go to the library, you will know our story. But very few people go to the library to read about how this conflict came about. Why did my mother have to leave her home in Beersheba? Why? Why did the millions of Palestinians who today rot in refugee camps in Gaza, in the West Bank, in Jordan, in Syria, and in Lebanon, why did they leave their homes? Because they were offered Gardens of Eden somewhere else? Because they were offered villas? Because they were offered some sort of happiness that wasn't available to them? They are rotting. They've been rotting in refugee camps for 60 years. Because Britain, at the turn of the last century, decided. Britain decided. And later on it was inherited by the US as an oppressive imperialist power. Decided that Palestine, which was entrusted to the British as part of the British mandate after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, decided that this would be the best place for a Jewish homeland. Jewish homeland for who? Most of the Jews didn't want to leave their homes. Most of the Jews were happily living in Western Europe. Yes, there were pogroms in Russia. There were persecutions in Eastern Europe. But these Russian Jews and Eastern European Jews wanted to come to safer lands, safer havens in Germany, in France, and in Britain. And the British led the campaign to prevent these Jews from coming to Western Europe. So what do you do with them? Take them somewhere else. Somewhere else where? Is this your back garden? You play with it? What about the millions of people? You shatter their lives just to solve your own problem. A problem that could have been solved in a much more humane way. The Jews are human beings. Why are you treating them like subhumans? That was the problem of Europe, not the problem of Palestine. We the Palestinians, we the Muslims, we the Arabs never persecuted the Jews. The Jews continued to live with us for 1,400 years until the Zionist project started. Who persecuted the Jews? Who treated the Jews as subhuman? It was the Europeans. The Europeans should look inward. If you feel so guilty about this, then find the solution within you, and not at the expense of somebody else, because that somebody else happens to be in the weakest of his or her moments. This is what happened to us. We were weak. We were part of the Ottoman Empire, and then the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and then the French and the British decide through two officers who sat in a hotel room in London to carve the map the way they liked. They just put the map like this and drew lines. And when it came to Palestine, they decided, oh, no, leave this to us. This is going to be the home of the Jews. What Jews? The Jews for thousands of years believed it was not befit for them. It was not allowed for them. It was not permissible for them. It was not halal for them. It was not kosher for them to go back to the land of promise until the Messiah came. What changed things? What changed things? Two things. Zionism. A few individual Jews in Europe who had corrupt minds, and the fascists and the Nazis and the anti-Semites who deep within them hated the Jews but didn't mind using them as a functional group. That's history. I'm not telling you a myth. Go to the library and read, and if you find anything that is a truth that contradicts what I say, I will come back and apologize to you. That's the truth of the matter. How come that you go to Palestine today, or to Israel as they call it, how come that you find all of Europe there? You find all the world there. Yemeni Jews, Iraqi Jews, Moroccan Jews, Spanish Jews, German Jews, Polish Jews, Ukrainian Jews, Russian Jews, speaking even Russian until today. Many of them are not even Jewish. This is a colonial project. This is what Palestine is about. Palestine is not just about human rights, although human rights is an integral part of it. Palestine is about oppression, global oppression. And that's why it's not an Islamic Jewish problem. It's not. And I don't mind sitting with any Jew, talking to any Jew. And I could be ending loving that Jew on the basis of our common humanity. I probably love the Jew a lot more than I love a Palestinian who is selling my homeland to the Zionists. This is what matters to me, justice. It's not an Islamic Jewish problem. It's not a religious issue either. It's not an issue of a state. We, the Palestinians, never had a state in our history. Why should we bother about a state today? I don't give a damn about a state. If anybody wants a state, let them go and find themselves a vacant island somewhere in the Pacific Ocean and establish a state. I want my mother's house in Beersheba. I want my father's land in Hebron. I want the refugees, all of them, not a single one spared, all having the right and to exercise their right to return to their homes. Is that too much to ask?